Let the good times roll, baby. Let's go. Everybody, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You found your way over to the Modest Audiophile channel, and yes, today we're going to go over 1978's The Cars' debut album from Rhino High Fidelity. First, let me just say I've been coveting this for quite some time. I was not in tune to what Rhino High Fidelity was when this first came out in 2023. I certainly am now. By the time I was aware of Rhino High Fidelity, this thing sold out, and I guess in record time. So this past Christmas, I did wind up getting Candio. Fantastic sounding record. I did a review on it earlier this year. Check it out. But back to the debut record, they did not release it as the unnumbered version for quite some time. And I believe when this first came out, I think I found out about the unnumbered version from a brick and mortar store that we all know online. And I think that's how they initially reintroduced the unnumbered version into the masses, by getting it at a brick and mortar store. I just did check the Rhino High Fidelity store website, and they do have this up there as well. I think the price point is $39.98. That's what I paid for. So what we'll talk about in today's video, really quick, we'll talk about the overall packaging, presentation of this thing, the overall condition of said packaging, and the record itself, most importantly. We'll talk a little bit about the overall tone stack, and then we'll get into soundstage and imaging. And then we will get into some decibel level checks, which were really good, and then into some of the songs. And most importantly, what stood out for me, not only on the first listen, but several listens afterwards, that was different from either what I remember or from other versions that I've heard before. And then we'll get you out of here really quick so you can go get yourself a copy of this thing. All right, just like with every other Rhino High Fidelity, it comes with the OB. Nothing's different here. 180 gram vinyl, cut from original analog master tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. Pressed at Optimal Media. Heavyweight gatefold jacket, Includes exclusive insert featuring Q&A with guitarist Elliot Easton, more on that in a second, and it states limited edition. Not numbered, but limited. So what does limited mean? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe another run of 5,000. Anyway, like I just mentioned, it is still available on the Rhino website. As far as the overall condition, I ordered it and it came in a media mail. No issues to be found whatsoever. Excellent. I think it would be tough to damage this thing. If you're familiar with Rhino High Fidelity, here's the cover, here's the back. This thing is one solid piece of cardboard, no doubt about that. And this one is no different. On the inside, yes, and for those who want to know and who like that, the first time you open this, you do get the crackles, which is very nice. Now, what did it come with? Well, just like every other Rhino Hi-Fi release, it comes with a polyline sleeve. Excellent. It came with the tape box pictures. And like I mentioned earlier, it does come with a very nice Q&A with guitarist Elliot Easton. In this particular one, he does go into, again, obviously talking about the guitars and either being the Gibson Les Paul Standard or the Fender Telecaster that they used, and they go into a little bit of a conversation around that and some of the amps that they were using and how they went about recording some of these tracks. So really good information there. All right, let's talk about the soundstage. So if you're familiar with the channel, you know I've got these Wharfedale Super Lintons over here. They're about 9 feet apart. I sit 9 feet away. So when I'm talking about soundstage, when you close your eyes and you see the image with your mind's eye, I am getting the image of the overall soundstage is coming out about 4 to 5 feet left and right of the speakers. This is a very nice soundstage. One of my favorite soundstages, if I'm being honest. As far as the overall height goes, this thing is going up to the ceiling, which in my room, it is about 4.5 feet above the tweeter level of these speakers. and the bass is definitely going down to the floor. This is an excellent soundstage. I'm really happy with this. It's very similar to Candio, but I dare say this might be a little bit more expansive of a soundstage than Candio. As far as the image goes, again, just like Candio and a lot of the Rhino High Fidelity releases, the image is super, super detailed, very clear, etched. Close your eyes and you are definitely getting a three-dimensional holographic type of presence in your mind's eye. Really nice soundstage and image. And it has layers upon layers. I really enjoyed the depth that this image produced. A lot of these songs, especially on the high notes, talk about that in a few minutes with the synthesizers, the cymbals, and other things. The image is definitely projecting into the room quite a bit, by about 1.5 feet, and it does go back towards the wall, which in my case is about 3 feet behind the speakers. So really, really good depth. Very impressed with the depth on this record. All right, let's talk about the tone stack. And first and foremost, excellent tones coming out of this record. Excellent rock tones. Been a while since I heard this. Certainly haven't heard it on a modestly priced hi-fi system coming through or coming off of a audiophile type of label. Man, I was really impressed with the tonality of this record overall. So as far as bass goes, thick, full. It's got girth, it's substance. The bass is not overly obtrusive, just perfect, if I'm being honest. Really good bass. Fills out the bottom section of the soundstage really well. Fills up the room too. The mids, just like with the other Cars record and the Rhino High Fidelity in general, the mids really shine on this record. Vocally outstanding. Benjamin Voor's vocals on some of the songs, we'll get to that in a minute. Oh, they're very, very good. Guitars, more crunch than I ever remembered coming off of this. Guitars sounded wonderful. Synthesizers, drums pump and punch. The drums punch and pop. Really good mids on this record. And as far as the treble, yeah, you got some nice high-end sparkle. Apart from giving you that sense of depth and space and airiness, you get some excellent cymbal decay on this record. You get some excellent high notes coming off of the synthesizers. You got a flanger effect that comes in on one of these songs. The treble's really nice. So overall, great tone stack, well balanced. What a record. I mean, we'll get to that more in a minute, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed the overall tone stack on this record. All right, I did do a few decibel level checks. We'll get through these quickly. The first one was the first song, Good Times Roll. I have the overall volume set on my integrated at 68, which is normal. So this thing was not neither cut too hot, it wasn't cut too low. It was really, it falls in line with just about any other record that I get from Rhino High Fidelity, that's for sure. So again, Good Times Roll. Low end of 69, high of 88 for an average of 82 decibels. Very, very nice. Second one, Just What I Needed, the third song on the first side. This one had some punch. It gets progressively better too. You've got a low end of 65, high end of 92 for an average of 83, right in my particular sweet spot. And then on the last song of the album on side 2, All Mixed Up. This is a bit of a surprise. I didn't think I'd get this much of a range. And I have a low end of 63, that's coming in at the beginning of the song. And then high end of 94, I was a bit surprised, for an average listening of 80 decibels. So as far as the overall range on this album, it's great. Again, just like Candio and a couple of other Cars records that I have, these were recorded super well. Really, really pleased with it. All right, before we get into the individual songs and some of the things that I wanted to call out, I wrote a couple things down here as odds and ends. So first and foremost, in 1978 when this came out, I was a whopping 9 years old. I don't recall it right away. I mean, some of the songs I remember hearing on the radio, sitting in the back seat of the car, my parents' car. But most importantly, being in New England, and this being a New England-based band, you constantly heard the Cars on the radio all the time. In particular, Rock 101, right? GIR FM in Manchester, New Hampshire. They would have those block party weekends. And the Cars were always playing all the way through until I got through high school. So the Cars were always present in my life. And boy, did this record bring me back. What an album, by the way. No filler on this album. Even the songs that weren't radio hits, they're outstanding. Not a single piece of filler on this album. This could be a greatest hits record unto itself. And I put here, I go, this kind of blows my mind on how damn good this thing sounds. This has got to be one of the better sounding records I own. Just a completely dynamic listening experience. Really happy with this one. And the last one has more grunt and growl than I recall. The Cars, as they got into the MTV video age, a little bit more softer approach. I think by the time they got to Heartbeat City, Mutt Lange was doing the production on it. But these first couple Cars records, especially this debut, this one had more grunt and growl. This is a really, really good album. So let's get on to side one. Side one starts with Good Times Roll. The first thing I put over here was, whoa, this thing sounds enormous. Fantastic. Any superlative you want to put out there. I was really surprised, and I shouldn't be at this stage, but it's, again, putting the needle down, I was surprised when the first song kicked in. Coming out of the right, the guitar has more crunch than I remember. Yeah, you know how this song starts. Coming out of the right side of the soundstage, that guitar just drives more crunched again than I recall. Great drum punch on this song, excellent full bass, great space and depth. And all those things I just said about the first song here is relevant for every other song on the record. Really, really good way to start this thing. Second song, My Best Friend's Girl. A nice full guitar, center right of the soundstage. You know it. You're hearing the individual notes coming on that guitar, and it's just full, more full than I recall hearing it. And then comes in on the left-hand side of the soundstage are those hand claps, and love myself some hand claps, and they sounded excellent coming out of the left side of the soundstage. The lead guitar in the center has got great presence. It leaps out into your listening space from the center of the soundstage. Really nice. It's got those Buddy Holly-ish licks too. Yeah, Elliot Easton, let me just say, I did not know the range of guitar playing he had. And you hear a lot of it on this record. So many different styles. And I was really paying attention to that. Just anyway, side note, awesome guitar player. But again, on this particular song right here, My Best Friend's Girl, some great like rockabilly type of Buddy Holly-ish licks, and that's what came to my mind. And they were so clear in the center of the soundstage. All right, on the right-hand side of the soundstage is the rhythm guitar, and the first time I've ever heard this, I was actually hearing some finger squeaks on the strings. They're not very loud, they're not prominent, they're not obtrusive into the song, but I picked up on it, and I'd never picked up on it before. And then lastly, the synthesizers are thicker near the end, certainly more than I remember, kind of going to that girth of the overall bass in this soundstage. Anyway, enough on the second song. Excellent stuff, My Best Friend's Girl. Goes right into the third song, Just When I Needed. Intro has more force than I remember, right? You know the intro, unmistakable, and it just had more force than I remember. Great full crunchy guitar tones again on this song. Excellent cymbal decay. It's the first time on this record that you really start to hear those cymbal decay in isolation. Very, very nice. Great spacing, best vocals I've ever heard on this particular song. Yeah, Rhino High Fidelity, awesome job, in my opinion. I don't have an original copy to compare this to, but boy, this thing, regardless, is no slouch. I love the presentation of this album coming off of this Rhino High Fidelity. Excellent. And all I said here at the end was more, please. I wish this song were longer. All right, going into the fourth song called I'm in Touch with Your World. I put fun. Fun. This is not one of the most popular songs on the record. Certainly didn't get a lot of airplay on the radio at the time. Still doesn't. But even though it's a lesser known song, it is absolutely killer. This thing starts with a very expansive soundstage. You get some percussion, some drums. And when I mean percussion, you get all these different percussive instruments. You get some bells, some whistles, and it is all very sparkly, all popping off left and right in the soundstage, presenting itself in space, in the room. An absolute joy to listen to this song. Killer whistles coming out as well. Again, everything is in space. It's a real delight for the overall senses. Close your eyes and you're having a good time with the soundstage. Everything is really in space. I put holographic, nice guitar solo, which I believe starts in the, I want to say the left-hand side of the soundstage, but you get a lot of panning effect with it as well. So again, this particular song, I'm in Touch with Your World, is probably one of the most fun songs on the album for your senses when you're listening or watching it with your mind's eye. Really nice. No slouch at all for a song on this record. Awesome. Now we round out side one with a song called Don't You Stop. More great imaging I put here. Great snare with some snap and punch. Get to feel it in the chest, fills out the room. And guitar solo leaps out once again into your listening space. Certainly as it comes in closer to the last quarter of the song too. Really nice. Side one. All right, let's get on to side two. Hey everybody, just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. Real quick, if you like this channel and you want to support it further, please, yes, go down there and hit like. If you want to support the channel an extra step above and beyond and won't cost you a dime, please feel free to hit subscribe. You can always take it away later, and every once in a while somebody does. So thank you so much. Let's get back to a fantastic record that keeps blowing my mind. Side two starts. Well, let me just say this. This might be, is this the perfect side of a record? Think about it. You've got You're All I Got Tonight, Bye Bye Love, Moving in Stereo, right into All Mixed Up. Is this like the perfect side of a classic rock album? Put in the comments. I'd like to know a better side. I'm sure there's others out there, but boy, what a killer side, killer album. But this second side, whew, fantastic. In fact, what I put here, coming off of the first song, You're All I've Got Tonight, I put, quote, you know it's coming, but everything is just better. I mean, you've heard these songs. You know it's coming. You know when the guitar is coming in. You know when the drums are coming in. You know when the vocals are coming in. Everything was just better. Oh, fantastic. So yeah, You're All I Got Tonight, that intro, right, with that flanger effect, it's huge. Certainly doesn't play like this in the car. Certainly didn't play like this when I was streaming it. Man, does it sound big and full. Outstanding depth, layers upon layers on this song. Just freaking awesome. What a way to start off side two, You're All I Got Tonight. All right, now as we leave the first song, You're All I've Got Tonight, we go into Bye Bye Love. The first thing I put down here is the songs just keep coming. You barely catch your breath from the first song, and now another huge hit comes in, and it sounds better than it ever has. In fact, Benjamin Orr sings lead vocals on this one, and although he has a lot of great vocal performances, not only on this record, but on other records to come, I don't think he's ever sounded better than what he sounds like on this one. I put outstanding vocals. Just, you're hearing things in his voice that I've never picked up on before. Really good. High notes from keyboards are definitely coming into space again. They're projecting about 1.5 feet into the room, and that's prevalent for the synthesizers and keyboards for the majority of this album. They're coming into the space that you're listening. Very nice, very holographic. Guitar solo coming in the center. It's in your face, a little bit more so than I remember, or certainly projecting more in my room than I remember. Excellent guitar solo. Again, more crunch. The tonality is fantastic. All right, now we go into the last two songs on this record, and these were always, right, combined in that block party weekend. And the crossover in between these two songs gives you chills. First part of it is Moving in Stereo. Now, being a Gen Xer, I get some flashbacks to the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, Moving in Stereo. Definitely got the flashbacks. And I didn't write a lot here. I just put best ever. The bass and drums are big and full. Fantastic. I think I was just enjoying listening to it more than taking notes on it. Great stuff. And then you've got a wonderful crossover coming in for Moving into Stereo, right into All Mixed Up. And right during that crossover, right at the beginning of All Mixed Up, you've got you got a very expansive soundstage, and I mean you hear depth, the airiness of it, because you know the soundstage is still there, you perceive it, but you've got very sparse instrumentation when it's starting, right? You've got that intro with the cymbals and the guitar, and just very detailed, very nice. Not too high, not certainly no ear fatigue here, but just really, really detailed. Amongst the backdrop of a very silent soundstage, if that makes sense. All right, then I put more, you got more layers and layers, outstanding depth of this song. The backing vocals are more clear than I remember. And for the first time that I can recall, you get some very low notes of the backing vocals, meaning like low notes. And I've never quite heard it that clear before. It was really nice to hear that again for the first time. The synth keys again are moving around in space. Just, yeah, those last two songs on the last side of this record, boy, what a fantastic way to end it. And I frankly, I wanted to go back and listen to it again and again. All right, final thoughts here. Can you guess? I am super enthusiastic about this pressing. Yeah, Rhino High Fidelity. Thank you for allowing an unnumbered version to come out. What took you so long is my question. For those of us that were not in the know of this series, Rhino High Fidelity back in 2023, boy, was it a long wait. But I will say it was worth the wait. This thing is absolutely fantastic. It sounds fresh yet nostalgic at the same time. Just a really great listen. I'm very impressed with this. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it is still available for $39.98, I believe, on Rhino High Fidelity's website. All right, everybody, that's it. The Cars debut album, 1978. What a fun experience I had with this one. Absolutely excellent. Look, if you are of a certain age, of a certain generation, Gen X, yeah, you remember this thing. Let me tell you this. Go out there. Get yourself a copy of this thing. Go place the order online if you have to. Plan your evening around it. So when this thing comes in, give it a quick bath in whatever cleaning method that you use before you put it on the turntable. Grab yourself your favorite beverage, kick back, and listen to the fresh nostalgia that this thing is going to provide to you. Absolutely fantastic. What a great presentation of this record. And that's really what I wanted to get across to everybody today. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate it. And real quick, after you listen to this record, you can't just like put on something else. You kind of have to stick with the Cars. And in this case, what's coming up for a next review? A little sneak peek. The Cars Shake It Up. Another Rhino release, but a little bit different. So more on this in a few days, we'll see. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye.